Fiercely conditioned and skilled to the peak level of fitness, adept in all kinds of weaponry, fearless in battle, and ever in harm's way. This is a soldier whose blood-stained exploits across the battlefields of the world have won him the respect of his enemy. This is the soldier whose spirit can never die. They are the vanguard of India's fighting force. This is the 5th Battalion of 11 Gorkha Rifles, Bogra. .511 Gorkha Rifles Bogra was raised on 8th May 1948 at Palampur, Himachal Pradesh by Lieutenant Colonel Mani Lal Barua. During Indo-Pak War of 1947-48, the Pulton fought a successful battle at Kaintal, Jammu and Kashmir on 7th and 8th September 48, for which 2 non-commissioned officers of the battalion were awarded mention in dispatches. During the 1965 operations, the battalion carried out a raid on enemy position east of Badulian and captured Nandpur, Dhure and Malane in Arispura sector, Jammu and Kashmir. 2 other ranks were awarded mention in dispatches, while 2 junior commissioned officers were decorated with the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Card.
On the eve of Golden Jubilee of our Battle Honor Bogra, when we celebrate the glorious 50 years of victory in the 1971 war, let us roll down the memory lane and relive the battle fought by the battalion in the Bogra sector in the erstwhile East Pakistan.
During 1971 war, the battalion's operations in Bangladesh began from the time the battalion traversed the subcontinent from Jorian, Jammu and Kashmir to its concentration area about 5 miles from Kishanganj, West Bengal on 12th of September 1971. On 23rd November 1971, the battalion was given the task of defending the border outpost and also to send a company across the international border to Sona Mosque, about 5 kilometers inside Bangladesh, to augment the Mufti Fauj, who had taken up defenses there. The rest of the battalion moved up and occupied the Mohadipur defenses. When the hostilities broke out on the night of 3rd December 1971, the battalion was manning some positions at Charkhai near Hilli. On 7th December 1971, the battalion was given the task of establishing a roadblock at Lal Dighi Bazar and Kumetpur by first light 8 December 1971. With a view to cut off the enemy's line of communication along the national highway Rangpur-Bogra and prevent the enemy reinforcements reaching Pirganj from Rangpur. After a forced march of 39 kilometers, the roadblock at both the places was in position by 200 hours, 8th of December 1971. The enemy reacted violently and attacked with a massive force consisting of infantry soldiers supported by heavy tank fire. The violent exchange of fire ensued, in which own tank fire played a decisive part. However, it was due to sheer grit and determination and inspired leadership at all levels that 511 Gorkha Rifles successfully staved off a major counter-attack and held on to the roadblock. The saga continued as the battalion was ordered to move to Palasbari to capture Ghora Ghat. Intensive patrolling was undertaken on the night of 9th and 10th December 1971 to gain information about the enemy defenses and minefields. The plan was to capture the east bank from the ferry to Mangleshpur, which was extensively mined. After intense fighting that included artillery and air attack, the east bank of the Katoya was cleared and secured by last light 10th December 1971. Major N. Bhasin was wounded during the Battle of Ghora Ghat. On 11 December 1971, a task force of 69 Armoured Regiment and 511 Gorkha Rifles was formed and given the task of capturing Gobindganj. The battalion carried out an outflanking maneuver from the east of Govindganj and crossed the Karotoya river at Kajala. The total distance from Palasbari to Govindganj along the selected route was 56 kilometers. Alpha Company with Squadron 69 Armored Regiment established a roadblock at Kamra Crossroad while the remainder battalion attacked Govindganj from southeast. Complete surprise was achieved by this task force. However, the enemy brought down heavy tank, MMG and artillery firing on the attacking troops. Captain P.B. Singh, officer commanding Bravo Company, was severely wounded in this attack. The enemy defences crumpled under the weight of determined assault, resulting in his abandoning the defences in panic towards the south along road Govindganj Bogra. The withdrawing enemy was trapped and slaughtered by our troops at roadblock. More than 80 enemy personnel were killed and 40 enemy personnel were captured. 2 Chaffee tanks were destroyed and 4 Chaffee tanks, 6 artillery guns and 20 vehicles full of ammunition were captured in this operation. Lieutenant Y. Babu Rao, who was the IO, established the link with the roadblock and was martyred in a fierce encounter with enemy during this operation. Keeping up the momentum, the Fighting 5th continued its victory march and advanced along Govindganj Bogra axis to capture Bogra. On 12th and 13th night, the Battle of Solakandi Mahasthan was fought, during which Alpha Company led by Major J.B.S. Yadava carried out a classic infiltration on night of 12th and 13th December 1971, literally under the nose of the enemy. Brigadier Tajammul Hussain Malik, Commander 205 Pakistani Infantry Brigade, narrowly escaped the ambush placed by Naik Man Bahadur Limbu of Alpha Company. However, platoon patrol led by 2nd Lieutenant T.S. Bedi followed an enemy telephone line discovered earlier and found himself at the battalion headquarters of 32 Baluch. Seizing the opportunity, the battalion headquarters was surrounded and captured, including officiating commanding officer 32 Baluch, adjutant 32 Baluch and regimental medical officer of 32 Baluch. The next morning on 13 December 1971, Delta Company led by Major A.S. Mami carried out a daring daylight attack on the enemy, and after fierce hand-to-hand fighting from bunker to bunker, which lasted for well over 3 long and weary hours and annihilated the entire defensive locality of Charlie Company 32 Baluch. Officer commanding Charlie Company and Company Havildar Major were taken prisoners of war and 57 enemy personnel were killed, including the second in command of Charlie Company 32 Baluch. Further, in a brilliant and dashing action carried out with lightning speed and regardless of enemy fire, Captain M.S. Patania, officer commanding Charlie Company with the leading section, captured the Mahasthan Bridge. Capture of Solakandi was a true testimony to little men with big knives, scripting a tale of valiant courage, indomitable valor and unflinching determination. Bogra was an important town in the northwestern sector, as it was the enemy's district headquarters at an important communication center. It also had a big railway yard and a functional airstrip and was connected to Dhaka. Bogra railway station, police station and circuit house were located in the heart of the town, and these 3 areas were fortified and held strongly. They had become centers of resistance because the enemy's brigade headquarters and administrative base were located there. Also, the Paki troops, withdrawing under pressure from the northern and southern columns, had reinforced the perimeter defense around these landmarks. Lieutenant Colonel F.D. Dias planned a daring hook on night of 14th December and attacked the town from southwest with Alpha Company towards the Bogra railway station and Charlie Company towards the PWD rest house. No sooner the 511 Gorkha Rifles had covered a few blocks of houses, they came under intense automatic fire from all directions. they had no choice but to clear each house. Sections leapfrogged from one house to another, physically evicting the enemy with grenades and Molotov cocktails. The enemy put up resistance in each encounter, abandoning the building only when some of their men were killed, wounded or trapped.
The attack was very slow and we had to fight for every inch of ground.
Realizing that it would be very difficult to fight at night, the battalion decided to put in every ounce of their effort to reach the objective by last light. They used all weapons and the firepower at their disposal against each building occupied by the enemy that came in their way. The pulverizing effect of the firepower and their bold and fearless actions took a heavy toll on the enemy and demoralized them.
Ultimately, we were able to prevail upon the enemy and destroyed him one by one from house to house. In this operation, Captain M.S. Pathania was killed, and then Delta Company under Major Mamik was launched, who were able to capture the PWD rest house.
The capture of Bogra was a landmark victory in which every soldier of 511 Gorkha Rifles played a vital role against the enemy, which was entrenched in fortified positions. The capture of Bogra thus played a significant role in the liberation of Bangladesh. A total of 50 enemy personnel were killed and 9 officers, 6 JCOs and 212 other ranks of 8 Baluch along with its regimental color were captured. And Headquarter 205 Infantry Brigade along with its brigade major, commanding officer, 80 Field Regiment, 3 engineer officers and 50 other ranks were also captured. A formal surrender ceremony was held at Bogra on December 18, where Major General Nazar Hussain Shah, GOC 16 Infantry Division handed over his pistol and belt to Major General L.S. Lahel, GOC 20 Mountain Division, in the presence of about 1,500 personnel of all ranks.
Today I take this opportunity to pay tribute to the gallant officers and men, both living and martyred in action, who contributed to the success of operations in Bangladesh and which made possible the award of the Battle Honour Bogra and Theatre Honour East Pakistan. My thoughts go out to those who are no longer with us and the supreme sacrifice made by them in line of duty in accordance with the highest traditions of a great Indian Army to keep the battalion's flag flying high. May they rest in peace. My greetings and good wishes to all ranks of the 5th Battalion, on whose shoulders now lie the task of carrying on in the path shown by our predecessors. I wish Golden Jubilee celebrations all success, which I am sure will be celebrated in style befitting the rise and limbus. Jai Hind, Jai Gorakh.
On the completion of 50 years of Battle Honour Bogra and Theatre Honour East Pakistan 1971, I pay my earnest homage to all those brave officers and men of the battalion who laid down their lives in honour of our nation. I pray to Durga Mata on this auspicious occasion of the Golden Jubilee of Battle Honour Bogra to continue shower her blessings on the Pelton and the families. Jai Bogra, Bogra Pelton ki Jai.
Golden Jubilee Bogra Day is being celebrated to pay our tribute to the martyrs and honor the valor, bravery and sacrifices made by Veer Bogra Kirantis during the war. In order to take the celebrations to the doorsteps and connect to the 1971 war veterans, get-togethers were organized at Dharan and Kathmandu in Nepal and Bagdogra and Dehradun in India. The youngest officer of the battalion, Lieutenant Bobin Singh, visited remote districts of Nepal and ensured that the veterans were made part of the celebrations.
All the officers, JCOs and the other ranks on the roll of the battalion contributed significantly, and their role cannot be ignored even if they have not been mentioned in this documentary. The glorious chapter in the history of the battalion was written by the blood and sweat of such many unsung heroes. Let us now come together as a family and let relive, rejoice and immortalize the significant contribution made by every soldier during the war, to whom we owe so much, and let us celebrate this glorious victory.